One of the top questions a lot of people ask me when they're first starting to get into sync is, should I sign an exclusive agreement or a non-exclusive agreement? So I'm going to break this down and give you my own personal opinion because at the end of the day, this just depends. One of the best ways to get a grip around this concept is think of this like dating. Do you want to go in a long-term relationship with someone, like marriage or your fiance, or do you want to just date around? So an exclusive contract would be more of like a long-term commitment, and a non-exclusive agreement would be more like dating around. So some people like to date around, and some people like a long-term commitment. They're both different though. For instance, let's say you're dating around, meaning non-exclusive. The person might not put as much attention into you and to your needs because you're probably dating several people. So if you only see them on a Friday every few weeks, you can't expect much from them when it comes to loyalty, trust, for them to be there for you at all times, right? If you really need them. Where you could be in a long-term relationship and you know the commitment and you know what you're going towards together, and that would be more of an exclusive agreement. Now here's where they get tricky. In both relationships, an exclusive one and a non-exclusive, if you don't know what the person is doing on the other side, you don't understand their commitment to the agreement. So I've seen some people who are in exclusive agreements with sync companies and maybe something hasn't placed and it's been 2 years. In that person's mind, who's the artist, they might think the company is not the right company for them. They're going, oh, I haven't placed anything. It's been 2 years. The songs are just sitting there. Maybe they haven't factored in we were in the middle of a strike. Maybe they haven't factored in that the company was still growing. Maybe they haven't factored in the amount of competition in the actual industry. The artist is only going through their own perspective, through their own glass. If they actually know the team on the other end, let's say if they're aware of the company, they're aware of the people who work at that company, and they were to talk to them and communicate, they might find out that that company is working extremely hard to try and place these songs. It's just they haven't landed yet. I can tell you personally that I have songs that have been pitched over 50 times before they got their first placement. And it wasn't because anything was wrong with the song or the people doing it. It just meant that it took a little bit longer and that it had to be for the right placement for it to work. Regarding a non-exclusive agreement, sometimes, yeah, it's nice to have your eggs in different baskets, but it once again doesn't mean that people are being working as hard for you. It just depends on the team. So maybe there's a great team that's okay with doing a non-exclusive agreement because they want to build a relationship with you and they are working really hard and you have communication in that as well. I think what it all boils down to is the communication part, because sometimes people sign a deal and they just sit back and they wait for something to happen. Then when it doesn't happen, they react emotionally instead of communicating with that team. And I think that's where most disagreements happen in the music industry and just in the world in general. They happen from miscommunication. So the big question people ask me is, well, which one is actually better? Now, I can only tell you what I would prefer. I would prefer to work with a company exclusively so that way I can build a catalog with them over time and they could trust that I'm going to continually give them products that they can then work on. Now, would I give all of my songs? Well, maybe not. Maybe I'm going to work where I'm giving EPs or records, maybe 6 or 7 songs, or certain sounds, like this is a reggaeton sound, and this is my rock sound, and I'll give them to you here, and let's see what we do with them. And if after a few months pass and maybe something doesn't happen, I might take some other songs to another company and do another exclusive deal with them. And so I'm basically spreading these concept albums or different projects around to see who we best work with. Non-exclusive agreements can be very good if I also know the other party and I know that they're going to be pitching it. The worst thing that can happen is I sign the same song to 3 non-exclusive agencies and they're all out pitching the same song, then it places, and then we're trying to figure out, well, who do we split the money with? Because now there's 3 companies all doing the same thing. And sometimes that gets to be a little bit distractive and detrimental for the companies themselves. So you kind of put all these things into your perspective. But for myself, I rather build with people who are already trusted. So if I'm going to sign non-exclusive agreements, I want them to be with companies that have been established or companies who have a really good internal organization of executives. Because the executives at a company can really make or break the company. If they already have respect, if they already have credits, if I've worked with them or have met them on a personal level, then most likely I'd lean more towards that if I'm aware of who they are and what they've done. And that would sway my decision left or right. But if you have any more questions or any comments you want to leave about non-exclusive agreements or exclusive agreements, feel free to put them in the comment section below and I'll do my best to respond as soon as I can. All right, I'll talk to you soon.